the year. But even though I love Halloween and things that kind of suck about Halloween. Now, don't get me wrong, I love it. This neighborhood had none. This one had two houses, and one of them was just, one of those plastic things on the window. I find it very disappointing. I think the main reason is maybe some people, obviously some people might just not have the money to do it anymore, which I'm fine with. Some people just don't have the money to totally deck their houses out with lights and decorations. Another one I think is some neighborhoods and some towns are really against Halloween. I remember I used to live in a very small farming town, and there was some guy, every year he would totally deck his house out. And one year he did his yard to be a cemetery. He had, really good high quality tombstones and like zombies coming out of the ground. It was awesome. And then I remember I went out for a walk one night and it was all gone. And it was before Halloween. And I was reading in the newspaper that somebody actually called the fucking cops on him. They went out with their kids saw it, they got scared, they gave them nightmares. Their parents called the cops, said it was public indecency, and the cops actually made him fucking take it down. So I can understand that. If some guy who really puts his heart and soul into this gets the cops coming over to his house to tell him to take it down, it doesn't encourage anybody else to want to do it too, which really sucks. So that's number one. Houses just aren't being decorated the way they used to. Number two on the list is I've noticed that there just aren't a lot of scary movies coming out in October for Halloween anymore. For some reason, a lot of, I guess, the big Hollywood, big shot producers think that putting horror movies out in like February and August are the right decision. Who the fuck thinks of that? Like, oh, I know, I have a werewolf movie I'm making. What's the best time to put it out? February with Valentine's Day. Yeah, that makes sense. Not, Halloween. Oh, I'm going to make a slasher flick. Let's put it out in August. Like Rob Zombie's Halloween movies. I loved his first one, not so much the second one, but they were released in the summer. Really? Halloween? You're going to release Halloween in August? Not, in Halloween? It's not like by the time Halloween was coming, they were releasing the DVD. The DVD didn't come out till like December. So what's the fucking point? I understand they want to rush these things out, but wouldn't it make more sense to release it during Halloween to get the box office sales of Halloween during Halloween? I don't think I'm saying Halloween enough. So yeah, that's number two. There's just really not that many. Oh, another thing. 2 years ago, in my town, they had the Cineplex had this big thing like, oh, we're going to be playing some classics. So they played The Wolfman and The Mummy. It was a double feature, and it was really cheap to get in. It's like, okay, that's fucking awesome. The year after that, it's like, oh, we're going to play some classics. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Yeah, that's a scary movie. Jimmy Stewart filibustering at fucking Washington. Ooh, spooky. They couldn't have played like Frankenstein and Dracula or something scary. Like, to me, I don't understand it. Like, right now, the only things in theaters are, what, Sully and Storks. Like, even the Blair Witch Project isn't even in my theater anymore. Well, there's nothing scary to hype me up for Halloween. What's the fucking point? Number three is people smashing pumpkins. That irritates me beyond fucking belief. Like, I understand, it's a little punk rock to go out and cause a little mischief on, Devil's Night or something, throw some eggs, shaving cream on cars and shit like that. To me, those are insignificant things. Nothing with, 10 minutes of a hose can't get rid of. I hate it when people smash pumpkins. I find it incredibly disrespectful. And, considering it's something that usually parents do with their kids, if you're, carving a pumpkin with your 8-year-old, you set it out like, oh, here, Timmy, a pumpkin that we carved together. The next day, your fucking pumpkin is smashed out on your porch. Like, come on, who the hell does that to some kid's pumpkin, right? To me, that's just totally disrespectful. Obviously, there is about, some mischief and some rebellion to it, but really, smashing a kid's pumpkin, and, someone stole my pumpkin 2 years ago. It was the first time I'd done pumpkin carving in a long time, and I did a vampire on it, put it out in front of my porch. The next day, when I'm going to work, it's gone. Someone stole my fucking jack-o'-lantern. Like, what the fuck, man? Who steals a jack-o'-lantern? Is it that hard to go out and buy a $3 pumpkin and carve a face into it yourself? I don't get the logic behind it. I don't get it at all. It's ridiculous to me. Okay, so that's number three. So number four is, this one's a bit of a two-parter. First part of it is when kids don't go out trick-or-treating. Come on, it's Halloween. You gotta get dressed up. You gotta go out trick-or-treating. It's part of it. It's all the fun of it. I buy candy every year hoping that kids will come to my apartment so I can get, trick-or-treaters. And I live on the ground floor. And I decorate my porch and everything to attract trick-or-treaters. Haven't had a trick-or-treater in years. So I'm really irritated about that. Even though I personally get to eat more candy, I shouldn't, but, I do. And the second part of this is when teenagers go trick-or-treating and they aren't wearing a costume. That irritates me beyond fucking belief. When I lived with my parents one year when I was in high school, a bunch of the kids I went to high school with came to my house, not in costume. Like, oh, trick-or-treat. It's like, first of all, you're a little old for trick-or-treating. And second of all, you're not even going to put any fucking effort into it. Like, come on, like, put a wig on, put some fake blood on your face. One of them came to my door, she had a pencil taped to one side of her and an eraser. Like, oh, I'm a pencil bag. Like, no, you're not, you're fucking lazy. That's what you are. You're not getting any candy from me unless you're going to put some effort into it. I'm more than happy to dish out candy to teenagers, but you gotta put the fucking effort into it. Just showing up and saying, give me some candy, I'm gonna egg your house. Fine, fucking egg my house. You're not getting any candy from me, you asshole. So that's number 4. And finally, number 5. The thing I find incredibly disappointing that it shouldn't happen. It is, most countries do not celebrate Halloween. I was always under the impression growing up that, Halloween was a global thing. I thought everyone celebrated it, except maybe North Korea. So, when I started doing my Halloween videos, people were messaging me and commenting, saying, oh, I wish we celebrated Halloween here. Oh, what is Halloween, I find it very disappointing that so many countries around the world don't know what it is or just don't celebrate it. It's such a fun, festive time of the year. I just really wish that everyone across the world could experience it. Kids could get dressed up and go trick-or-treating. People could have Halloween parties, have horror nights, all these things. So I find it very disappointing that, very little of the world actually celebrates it. Obviously, North America is big in it, and some countries in Europe, but I heard that a lot of African countries don't celebrate it. A lot of Asian countries don't celebrate it. I hear it's just getting popular in Japan. I'm willing to bet it's popular in Australia. Someone will have to clarify that with me. South America, I know they have like the Dios de los Muertos in Mexico, but I don't know any other things in South America about Halloween. So I just wish that was more of a global thing, that everyone could have fun with it and experience Halloween the way I did as a kid, and that it would just grow and become a global thing. That's what I wish. So that is my top 5 list of things that kind of suck about Halloween. So, like my past videos, I either do a recommendation or a warning, and this one I'm happy to do another recommendation, and that is the Regular Show Fright Pack. Regular Show is probably one of my favorite cartoons on the Cartoon Network, and this little compilation is several of their horror-themed episodes. They have the first 2 Terror Tales from the Park. If you don't know what those are, it's essentially their version of the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. They have several little horror stories that they put together in a half-hour episode, and obviously the creators of the show love old horror movies, and a lot of these episodes are heavily inspired by that. So if you have kids or you just like cartoons and you can find this, I highly suggest picking it up. I found this, I want to say about 3 or 4 years ago. So I can't imagine it would be that hard to find. I'm sure you can get it on Amazon or something. So yeah, Regular Show Fright Pack. Check it out, guys. So that's it for today's video. If you like what you saw, don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave me a comment letting me know what you think of today's video. Don't forget to stay tuned all month long, where I'll be doing my whole month of Halloween and October-inspired videos, so definitely check those out, and check out my past videos as well. So thank you very much for watching, and stay spooky.